Now, it's been a long time coming. Ever since I heard about this movie, it's been on my mind. It's called The Sorcerer's Apprentice. And I did not know this movie existed until Jeremy brought it up. And
His life was empty.
I was very nervous, to be honest. So the synopsis is Master Sorcerer Balthazar Blake must find and train Merlin's descendant to defeat Dark Sorceress Morgana Le Fay. So this is kind of it's based in, some of that old mythology stuff with Merlin and Morgana. I feel like is a very common, very common sorceress, and that I'm not too well versed in this realm, if you will. How about you?
I mean, I think I saw a direct-to-TV movie about Merlin.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay, sure.
Does playing Heroes of Might and Magic count?
Yes.
Then yes, I'm an expert.
So this was directed by John Turteltaub, written by Lawrence Connor, Mark Rosenthal, and starring Nicolas Cage, Jay Baruchel, and Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina is the main villain there. Not the big villain, but like the most consistent villain throughout the movie. And it is, what's his name? Maxim Hogarth? Is that it?
Yeah, I think he just calls him Max, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because those 14th century wizards, they don't use extra syllables.
Yeah, what's Merlin's last name? Jones? They never say. So this movie was released July 14th, 2010. I'll give you the numbers before we start getting into the movie. Domestic production cost $150 million. My God. Domestic box office $63 million.
Spew.
International box office $154 million. For a total of $217,986,320. So it made its money back and then some. And with Blu-ray and digital sales, $38.65 million.
Yeah, but that's not the return you're really looking for on $150 million, though.
True. It's very true. So out of all the movies we're going to do this week, this is the second highest worldwide box office, and you're going to be quite surprised at what the first is. So this movie, I gotta say, I kind of enjoyed it. I was very nervous thinking I wasn't, because it was like Nick Cage as a sorcerer. All I could think of was Nick Cage in Face Off and Nick Cage in Con Air, and it's like, if we get anywhere close to that, this is going to be absolute bonkers.
I mean, and it doesn't help that he shows up looking like a homeless guy.
Yes, he looks like he belongs
a homeless
in New York
man
City.
with a perm.
In a freaking leather duster.
Okay, I like the jacket, though.
Yeah, that's fair. It does protect him at one point, so. So what was the voice? I don't know if you remember this or not. So when the movie started, there was a voiceover. Did you happen to recognize who it was? Because it sounded so familiar.
No, I didn't. It was just a narrator to me, I guess. I didn't recognize the voice at all.
Sure. I never ended up finding who it was, but it just sounded so familiar. I wanted to see if you knew. So in the beginning, we have
flashback.
Yeah, it's kind of showing where all this starts, where Merlin's killed. Obviously, spoilers ahead, and the three sorcerers, one of them, who is Alfred Molina's character, turns on Cage and the female there, who she's not really in the movie that much, to help Morgana, and Cage ends up locking Morgana, Alfred Molina, and all of everyone who's like related to her or part of her crew in this little like Russian doll style like chest.
Russian nesting doll type thing.
Russian nesting doll style, yeah. And each layer is another villain, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Another baddie. So Merlin tasks Nick Cage to find, what is it, the Merlinian something?
Yeah,
Merlinian.
basically Merlin's kid,
Yes.
like a reincarnation of Merlin. But we should clarify that the reason why that what Morgana wants to do is uh, they stole a spell like
Mhm.
out of a book that can, and I'm going to quote this, raise the dead and enslave mankind. Now, maybe you're thinking like I do that you shouldn't keep that spell laying around. Like, what possible use would you have for that? Like, oh, I better keep this just in case we need to enslave mankind for some reason.
Right.
Like, just go ahead and don't write that down. If
Yeah.
you figure out how to enslave mankind, just go ahead and let that post-it note hit the trash can
Yeah.
on fire.
Yeah, just take out your little shredder, send
Yeah,
it.
you just and then eat the parts. There's no happy ending to that.
Oh, you're right, because there would absolutely be a spell to put the shredded pieces back together.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta think with wizard. You gotta think with magic here.
Yeah. Then after you poop it out, you got to set it on fire and
Yeah,
put it on someone's doorstep.
no, you waffle stomp that thing. There's
I'm
no
in.
there's no spell to unwaffle stomp something.
Right.
That's the wizard's greatest weakness.
So we flash forward to um, obviously Cage has been looking for this Merlinian descendant forever,
Like a
and
1,000 years.
yeah, we flash forward to this kid.
And there's a
So
cutscene of him going to a bunch of children wearing makeup in various
yeah, it's
countries.
weird. It's like this
Which
creepy old man.
that was a terrible prophecy. Like, I mean, hey, Nostradamus, was there a spaceship in this thing? Like, what century are we talking here?
Yeah, right.
Was he on Mars? Like, I mean, let's narrow it. Can we narrow it down to the right millennium?
Yeah, and think about the search, right? If there was one person on this planet you had to find
Mm-hmm.
before they died, I mean, are you gonna find him?
No,
Like, no. And now
there
we're
are literally more people in the world than you could possibly meet before they die. If the population of China started walking past you, it would never end because people are born more than whatever the population, whatever like walking speed is.
yeah. And yeah, on top of that, you extrapolate that by 1,000 years, and all of the people who have lived and died since. I don't know.
And
Just
also, could we narrow it down a little bit? Like he would know who Merlin's kids are.
yeah.
Like, hey, go down the village. Hey, who did Merlin fuck? Like, oh, I don't know. Let me go and check China, see if he teleported over there and had a quickie.
Yeah, right. And he at the very least, I mean, yeah, I'm there with you. It just seemed really odd, but they
Like, I
kind
don't
of
know where
gloss.
Merlin's kid is, but I'm pretty sure he's not in South Africa.
Yeah, and
You
they
don't need to check Antarctica. You don't need to check America until the first boat goes over.
right. They gloss over that shit so quickly as to make you never think about it again, because I honestly didn't.
This is why I have to yell about movies.
Yeah. So there was a moment where the main kid here,
Yeah.
he's trying to pass a note to a girl he likes, right?
Hmm. He
Now,
successfully passes the note. We should put that out there.
right. Have you ever passed a note in class in school?
Um, no. We used to do the punching game where you would try to punch someone while the teacher wasn't looking, and you had to
Yeah.
punch someone else before they looked back.
Never heard of that one. So a note is kind of like a murder, right? The fewer people that know about it, the better. In this case, the fewer people that get their hands on this note, the better. It went through like six people. It's not
And
making it to the end.
yeah, and no one opened it up. Like that's
That's
an unusual
exactly.
level of cooperation, right? Like you pass the notes,
Yes.
everyone's gonna open and look at it, right?
Yeah, and it's not like they're all best friend, like this circle of best friends. It's just like he passed it to his one buddy, and then it's in the hands of classmates who 100% would have opened it. At
Yeah.
least one of them. That part, I was just thinking like, yep, I remember that. So he loses the note that the girl signs and sets it on the ledge or whatever, and the wind blows it away. So after thousands of years of Cage hunting the kid stumbles upon Cage's house, New York City apartment store thing. I don't
I
even
mean,
remember
it
what the
looks like
hell
an
it was.
antique store.
Yeah.
And he just leaves the door wide open because, New York is such a peaceful place where no one would ever steal shit. Like,
Yeah, especially in the year 2000, there was nothing about to happen in New York City. So that was I was a little concerned that they were gonna go that route actually in the beginning because
oh god.
yeah they started showing him they showed Dave the main character he was drawing King Kong to make it look like he was on the Empire State Building. I definitely thought we were gonna get some Twin Tower action there, so but we don't, thankfully. It's not too soon for a joke, but I don't know. I remember it very, very vividly, and I just would rather not, be reminded of it, which is weird, but, you know. Let's see.
Yeah, that note they had was it's a lot awful lot of adhesive
Yeah,
that because I mean it went through a Tom and Jerry level series of coincidences to end up in that shop.
right. It even blew through like the mailbox door or whatever in the shop.
That
So
was the most realistic part. The stuck to a dog and then stuck to a car tire and then stuck to a bicycle tire
yeah,
and then flying up to the mailbox.
waited for him to get close and then flew into the mailbox.
It was the note was basically the cape from Doctor Strange.
Yep. So
And then in the shop, the kid meets Nicolas Cage, aka Balthazar, who at this point looks like a surfer that lives in his car, in spite of being the owner of an extraordinarily large antique shop with no cash register.
right. He also looks like he's perfect for New York City again.
I guess I've never been to New York City.
Really?
Yeah, my idea of New York City looks nothing like that. I think more Law and Order instead of
SVU? You're bang on with that. But there is a subsection of New York City that is 100% Cage, and not the fun Cage either. It's Sorcerer's Apprentice Cage. There's no weirdly constructed wigs, even though this was a weirdly constructed one. They wanted to make you think that it was his hair, but oh boy.
I did not catch that it was a wig.
Really? You thought it was
I
his actual.
assumed that they couldn't get him to cut his hair for the movie.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
I
you're probably
didn't. I
right.
didn't. It did not occur to me that someone would do that intentionally.
You think they intended for the character's hair to be short, but he just showed up like that? And they're like, well, he's
It's
Cage.
like I'm gonna be the next Fabio.
That would not be surprising, actually.
I can't believe it's not.
He at one point he does a Kamehameha spell or whatever, and as he started to wind up, I was sitting there with my wife, and it's like Ka me. He only got to Kameha, and then he threw it, so it didn't do a lot of damage.
If, if you're a fan of Naruto, it's more of a Rasengan than a Kamehameha.
Yeah, it was more of like a key blast from DBZ, but
Yeah, like they called it a plasma bolt, but it was it was too slow for that.
yeah, and there
Like
was
you could
there
move
was
out of the way of it.
for sure. There was one moment later on in the movie when Dave is he's whipping his spells around, and it was just going pew, 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 pew. He's just these little dinky throws. It was really weird.
Yeah.
But
Now, although I do want to note one thing that while he's in the shop, still as a kid, he he like the guy just leaves him with the ring that can apparently cause that urn to fly around.
hmm
Which I'm wondering, do you think that Balthazar knew that was an option and just assumed that it was okay to leave him with that ring? Like
maybe.
like he knows what the ring does. Like it can let you channel your magic powers. He had absolutely no concern that this 10-year-old would misuse magic power when given it.
Yeah.
Also, he just left an urn that can be accidentally opened up to release a ageless evil.
Right.
And yeah, so the kid like moves his hand and hears something knock. So he does what anyone does, moves his hand again. Dook, dook, dook. He's like, "Is that my hand doing that?" Yeah, and then the urn spills out, and then like 1,000,000 cockroaches come out, which I wrote down is slightly more cockroaches than the average building in New York City.
Yeah. That building in New York City was lacking on cockroaches, so it met the quota with the remainder there.
Yeah, I mean, I spent the rest of the movie just wondering why these ageless wizards never learned how to use super glue or a padlock,
Yeah.
a lot of chains, nice iron chest with the key kept up your butthole. I mean, there are options here.
Or got like one of those clay oven things and just was able to, reinforce the structural integrity of the urn, you know?
Yeah, or like maybe like the foundation of a building. Like, what are they doing here? Oh yeah, we're gonna make a nuclear bunker for the president to hide in. Hey, let me drop this in the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, like, he couldn't get rid of it because it contained his girlfriend, but he um he could have at least kept it somewhere other than right behind drywall.
True. Eh, or just, make it easily accessible, the demon queen of the world or whatever. Just make it very easy to get to and leave it with a little kid who can split it open with the ring you just gave him that he doesn't know how to use. Either way, it's good.
Yeah. And I've
So,
got a note here that says the CGI really holds up. So when I was watching it, I was pleasantly surprised at how good the CGI felt now that we're watching it 10 years after it came out.
yep, I was a little nervous when the dragons started being formed in Chinatown, but it actually looked pretty good. So,
Better than some higher production movies in later
5 years
years, I'd say.
after that, yeah,
Yeah.
for
I mean,
sure.
okay. It wasn't like better than a Marvel movie,
Right.
but it was better than like a DC movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It
But
wasn't as bad. This movie, not as bad as Superman versus Batman.
that's true, actually. I agree with that.
Like the big monster they were fighting. Come on, that's not. You could have done better than that. Anywho,
Yeah, so there's a big dragon fight scene. So there, this is fast forward to the future of, he's 20 years old, I guess, at this point. Dave
Mhm.
is, and both of the wizards were sealed away for 10 years, which is a weird spell, I guess. Especially when you're thousands of years old. I don't know what the point of that is.
I mean,
But
sometimes 9 years isn't quite long enough.
yeah, 11's way too many.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not be silly.
Yeah. So we get back into it, and everyone thought Dave was nuts because of what happened in the little shop, and there was no proof of anything, and he's kind of been secluded away because of it. He's kind of like a big dork now, big science nerd, which
Yeah.
who
It's a
knows if
small
that's the way
plot
he
hole.
went.
Small
Yeah,
plot hole. That urn should have been flying around when he was talking to everyone because he did move his hands, and
yeah,
the urn did not fly around at all.
true.
So that urn is kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
Like it could have flown around and like let that kid know he wasn't crazy.
yeah. So there's a moment where uh Alfred, what the hell's his name? The Alfred Molina's character, he
Alfredo.
breaks, yeah, he breaks out another one of the villains because, as we said, each each Russian nesting doll carries, each layer has another one of his, their evil wizard group or whatever, evil wizards guild. And it's a Chinese guy who has the power to summon like a dragon,
Hmm.
and also has the power to. What was he doing with those like needle things? I thought that
He
was
was
really
throwing them
cool.
around.
Yeah, just picking them up. I don't know if he like. Oh, was he
Well,
taking the water?
all the wizards have telekinesis.
But what were those needles? Were they? Were
I mean,
I
they
don't
just
remember.
had like a I forget what that horror
What
movie
was it?
guy is. He had like a
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser doll in there or something.
Oh, or was it acupuncture needles? Could be, could be,
Those were
but
some mighty big needles for acupuncture, I think.
I don't know.
That's like a
Um,
man's acupuncture.
yeah,
We're gonna we're gonna ventilate your spine, buddy.
and that's where Cage uses his coat to protect himself from the needles. But I thought that was a pretty cool effect, and that's when we get the dragon chasing the boy, and I don't know. They're trying to have him channel his energy or whatever by clearing his mind, but there's a big fucking dragon chasing him.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever, I guess. It's
I
just
mean the amount of prep work they do going into this fight is slightly better than the prep work they do for the robot fight for My Hero Academia.
yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, at least Nick Cage yells some advice at him instead of saying, "Go get him."
Yeah. Yeah. They get about as the same amount of well, I guess he does get a little bit more training than All Might gave Deku, but
Yeah,
this is
he gets a
kind of
10-second crash course.
this is kind of your standard run of the mill movie, right? So you get teacher teaching student, student struggling to learn, debates quitting, gets into conflict with teacher, comes back, helps teacher, fulfills destiny. That's like the
Yeah,
basic formula, right? This is what we're
yeah,
getting here.
yeah. And I'm just gonna bring up another issue I have, pet peeve of mine. Like many sci-fi and many magic issues, they don't actually create magical weapons that are better than just having a shotgun. Like, would you
Right.
rather have that dragon on your side, or would you rather have a semi-automatic shotgun? I think you're gonna take the shotgun and you're gonna blow that guy's head off 3 times if the dragon finishes flying around in the air.
Yeah, but in New York, you're not allowed to have guns, so that's why. But dragons are okay.
I'm pretty sure that you're not allowed to keep endangered animals in New York.
Oh yeah,
You can do that shit in Texas, but it ain't gonna fly in New York.
that's true. What I think you'd get more of a prison
I mean,
sentence though for the gun, right?
oh yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, the gun's way more deadly.
True.
It would take
Yes.
you like a day and a half to kill 5 people with that dragon. It's slow. It couldn't catch an unathletic kid going up a fire escape, and it's a flying dragon.
Yeah, and the dragon down the small hallway doesn't help either. Chasing after the kid, right? Keep
It's a
calling him a kid.
snake. It should.
Yeah,
They don't. No. No. It's not going to be an issue with something that actually knows how its own body works.
true. And have you ever seen the How to Train Your Dragon movies?
I saw the first one.
The character Dave, I was trying to think like, where the hell do I know this voice from? And he's the main character in How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, Hiccup. So we're gonna call him Hiccup for the rest of the thing because I can never remember Dave.
You said Dave
So
like 10 times.
yeah. Also, the Chinese lady from this is the Chinese lady in Daredevil, the one like one of the mob bosses. If you remember that, I can't remember her name, but
Oh yeah, the one that I don't remember.
yeah,
I was
but she's
thinking of the Chinese lady from Iron Fist.
yeah, same one.
Oh, okay. There's only one chick from China.
The only one, like the main lady
Do you
in
think
the
like she's the uh only like Chinese woman of that age in the Film Actors Guild?
yes,
She's the only one with a union card.
I appreciate you calling it the Film Actors Guild as well. It's my favorite. So I only have
What other name does it have?
what?
What other name does it have?
The Screen Actors Guild.
Nah. I didn't watch this on a screen. I watched it on a reel-to-reel film.
The Film Actors Guild is the joke from Team America World Police.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're on the same page. So at one point, Cage creates a green ring of fire around him, right? And this is jumping ahead a little bit, but that's totally fine. And I feel like his mannerisms while summoning that green fire were the same mannerisms he had in Face Off. Because he was just kind of twitching out and shit. And
I didn't see him twerking at all.
I was wondering if maybe in Face Off, if he thought green flames were around him while he was making those motions, and that's where he came up with that idea. But and that was wait, that was Cage as Travolta though, right? Or was it Travolta as Cage? Because that makes a big difference, right?
I mean, does it though?
I don't know. But so we get the we haven't talked about the love interest yet, have we?
No, I mean her main purpose in this movie is to make it slightly less convenient for our hero to train magic.
Yes.
And then she kicks something to save the world.
Yep. And it also
I mean she does do like a heroic climb, but it's all off screen.
Yeah.
That most of what she does that applies to the plot happens off screen.
Yeah, and the only other thing we get from her is that she's really hot. So
how old is she?
I don't know.
Well, then
27.
I don't know. Yeah, she's pretty hot.
So there was another scene with her where Hiccup takes her downstairs, and he plays like Superstition with lightning, right?
With a
testicle. Really weird.
Yeah, I don't think he invented using electricity to make music, but he did do it in surround sound.
Yeah.
Really, I think he was just flexing that he has a 4,000 square foot apartment in Manhattan.
Oh yeah. Could you imagine how much that thing costs? My God. Even though it's a studio, it's still.
I mean, it's not rated for occupancy, and I didn't see a bathroom in there.
True.
Also, it costs to like keep an RV bathroom going.
To clarify, she is 24 during this movie. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Just had to clarify for everyone out there, for whatever purposes you deem that necessary. So we get the typical run of the mill villain has the upper hand, summons the. I mean, I'm jumping ahead, so stop me if you need to go back.
Yeah, because if we're gonna talk about characters that don't really matter, we need to bring up that magician guy.
Yeah. So he's a descendant of Morgana, right?
What?
He's a descendant of Morgana, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought they were just like a cult. I didn't realize like it was a family thing.
Yeah, he's a descendant of her. So that's why Alfred comes over and finds him. Because he's using his magic, the descendants using his magic just to get rich. So that's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was kind of weird. Like they had this character in there just so they could like make the dumb joke. He didn't do anything that our bowler hat friend couldn't do himself.
Right.
And then he just gets murdered for helping.
Yeah, I like it. And one other cool scene before I jump to what I was going to say was the mirror There's like a bathroom fight scene, and Cage turns the mirror into like a liquid uh, kind of dimension of sorts,
Mm-hmm.
and throws Alfred into the mirror, which was pretty cool. And like a random civilian comes up, and Alfred's knocking on the window like, "Hey, you want to wake up that jackass knocked out in the stall because they knocked out the British guy?" And wake him up, and the dude who he's telling it to just passes out. It's pretty entertaining. Because I mean, what would you do if you were standing alone in a bathroom and a dude is just in the other mirror? Dude, what kind of window is this, brah? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would assume it's like a TV screen
So,
or something.
as I was saying, we get the. Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here.
I heard like this weird sound. Maybe it was my. Anyways,
Hmm.
she we summon Morgana, and there's close calls, but she's not at full strength until she completes the circle, and the whole normal narrative when
Yeah.
when big villain who is unstoppable is getting summoned, she's only partially at power and that kind of thing. In a sense, it's a classic style of movie, but I mean it's very you know straightforward. So I mean, it kind of made it a little boring because it was super predictable, but eh, whatever, right? And
Yeah. Oh, we did skip over one scene I really like. They had a really fun homage to the Mickey Mouse cleaning spell in Fantasia.
yes,
He basically he does the exact same thing, starts the mop cleaning up, and then he goes to the
yep,
bathroom to shower and get ready for a date, and he comes back out and his whole place is flooded. Oh, so there is a bathroom in there.
oh yeah, I couldn't wait to see him in that shower scene, man.
Okay, that's weird. But I mean, I thought they did a really good job of just kind of throwing that out there. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, this reminds me of my childhood.
yep.
Why do you have so many mops? We'll never know.
That's a good question. I don't really know. I can't imagine why one person who isn't even someone who is a janitor, why they would ever need that many mops. Just a mop factory would require that many mops. It's the only place. I don't know.
Think you would need more than
But
that for a mop factory. They had a really cool, I thought a really cool car chase scene near the end when pre Morgana summoning,
Mhm.
where the two bad guys have the urn
Yep.
that contains Morgana, and they're driving away in a car, and they're being chased by the good guys in a car. But I spent the whole time thinking, they got the ring that can control the urn. I think I could end this movie by using the ring power to beat them both to death with it.
Yeah.
Just, I think that'd be a good way to end the movie. Just at an hour and 25 minutes, just see two grown men being bludgeoned to death by an urn. And
Yeah,
that's
I'm
the end of
into
the movie. Just cut to black.
that.
Oh, good job. I thought you would have to fulfill the prophecy to end this, but no, you just beaten them to death with a weird plot device.
Yeah. Do you think this movie, I don't know if you've seen the runtime or not, would you say over or under 2 hours?
Um, I think it was under 2 hours.
Yeah. Hour 49. They kept it pretty filled, there wasn't any parts where it could be like, you could cut this. It was fairly well paced, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think there was anything in the movie that was bad or really unnecessary.
Yeah.
So good job, movie editors. Don't get to say
Yeah,
that a lot. I feel like I don't
that's
get to say
true.
that enough.
Yeah,
But my only
absolutely.
disappointment was I was kind of hoping the Prime Meridian was like they said, oh, he's gonna defeat her using magic without a ring. I thought, oh, he's a physics student. Maybe he'll just like use science to beat her. But no, he just used the magic without a ring. So I was a little like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, that was because there was one point where it's like, oh, when you unlock your Nick Cage says to him, when you unlock your true powers, you can use it without the ring, and we're like, oh, we know where this is going. So, I mean, it
I mean,
wasn't
I
too
was
bad.
hoping it would go somewhere else, but yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I would say it's a good movie that you should
Yeah.
watch.
So, 150,588 ratings on IMDb, 6.1 out of 10. That sounds about right.
I would give it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
An 8, nice.
Yep. But I'm might be because I'm a big Nick Cage fan.
Sure. And as I said off the top,
Also,
it
yeah.
it was it
Oh,
was a much more tame Nick Cage, which I thought it was going to be 100% batshit Nick Cage. So
no, and I mean, you don't get to see a lot of movies with like that kind of magic combat in it. I mean, you've got Harry Potter, which is more of a just talking about who's going to win the magic fight than
yeah,
having a magic fight. I can't
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
think of another like magic based movie that has like action in it.
Hmm. If
I mean,
you
I
guys
guess
know,
Mysterious Beasts and Where to Find Them, but other than
oh
that,
yeah,
I'm coming up dry for like action magic movies.
yeah, that's Harry Potter prequels, right? If
Yeah.
you guys know of any, shoot us on Twitter at Media Men Online. Let us know. And I got some random facts for you if you're ready for them.
Okay.
So you had already mentioned this previously, but the film is named after a segment in Disney's 1940 film Fantasia called The Sorcerer's Apprentice, starring Mickey Mouse, with one scene, obviously, the one you mentioned, being an extensive reference to it. The basic idea for the film was mostly Nick Cage's, who wanted to explore a mystic world and play a character with magical powers. I mean, well done. Good on you, Nick. Following a suggestion by his producer friend Todd Garner, decided to make a feature-length movie based upon the Fantasia segment of the same name. So they
That
got
is
their
super
inspiration
random.
yeah, from exactly what you said. Um, so there's a couple references, obviously, to the original movie with the mop scene, but there's also a post-credit scene that I didn't see, where he's wearing Mickey Mouse's magical hat. So, which is pretty cool. Here's a production fact for you. On May 4th, 2009, during production, a Ferrari F430, which was being driven during the chase sequence, lost control, careened into a window of a Sbarro restaurant in Times Square. So anyone who's been to Times Square knows exactly where that Sbarro is, and it's a 2-floor Sbarro. So anyone who's up on the top floor pretty much is ordering food, and you go downstairs and there's the like all the seats and everything. I think there are still some up top, just for the people standing or whatever. So a Ferrari F430 crashed through the window, injuring two pedestrians, one of whom was struck by a falling lamppost. Nobody died, so it's funny. And the filming resumed the following night when yet another accident occurred. The two accidents were blamed on rain, making the road slick. So, how they were able to block off that amount of street in New York City is pretty goddamn funny, especially in Times Square. That's like unbelievable. I mean, it must have been 4 o'clock in the morning. It said early morning, but the only real times you can really get away with that. I mean, for a movie, I guess they'd pretty much do anything, but logistically, to get away with it, it'd have to be 3, 4 in the morning because it's the city that never sleeps or whatever people try and say. But it's really it's a clusterfuck at all hours. So they
Yeah.
must really had to work it. So yeah, those were my random facts on the movie, and that's all I got. Do you have anything else on Sorcerer's Apprentice?